Good morning, my beloved friends, and my lecturer, Mr. Adi Mursalin. It's my pleasure to meet you again. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Daniel Giovanni. My student number is B1024141026. My major is marketing. I must take OB in this semester because of the requirement to pass 5th semester, and I want to learn about behavior in the organization. Based on my number presentation, I get the type A question. This type A question consists of 4 parts of questions, which are part A, B, C, and D. In this golden opportunity, I would like to answer the type A question of the OB Finance short-term exam. Please listen my answer and give the comment of my answer by giving the opinion and the score. Well, let me begin now. Part A questions. Number 1. What department do you take? Why should you study organizational behavior? How important is OB for students of marketing, finance, and HRM? I take marketing as my concentration. In marketing, we always face and interact with many people, so we should know about their behavior in organization of their behavior when purchase the product in society. So that's the reason why I should study OB. Not only marketing, OB also is important for other considerations such as finance and HRM. For example, in HRM, study OB can help the manager for know how they can manage the employee to can give the best performance for the company, and they can know how they interact with their employees. And in finance, study OB can help manager to communicate well with their employees so they don't face the misunderstanding, and the employee can give a good effect toward the company financial statement. Number 2. What books are used in OB lecture? Mention their titles, their authors, their packs, their content, and their benefit to you as a student as a major. There is one book that usually used for study OB in the class. The Organizational Behavior 15th edition by Stephen P. Robin and Timothy Judge, 711 pages. It consists of what is organizational behavior. The second, the diversity in organization. The third is attitudes and job satisfaction. The fourth, emotion and moods. The fifth is personality and values. The sixth is perception and individual decision making. The seventh is motivation concept. The eighth is motivation from concept to application. The ninth is foundation of group behavior. The 10th, understanding of work teams. The 11th, communication, and then leadership. The 13th is power and politics. The 14th is conflict and negotiation, and then foundation of organization structure. And the 16th is organization culture. The 17th is human resource policies and practice, and the last is organizational change and stress management. For students, this book is very useful to know and understand about OB. And for manager, this book can become the source that to help the manager and solve the problem in the company with finding the best solutions, because in these books already provided in the case study. The third question in part A. How many times are you absent for attending the OB lecture? Why? I never absent from OB class, but sometimes I get a present from my lecturer who come back earlier because I must come back to my office. I never absent from the class because I know OB is the important subject and very related with my job. The fourth question. Please compare the 3 ebooks posted on OB group on FB on VA. There are 3 ebooks that post on FB and VS groups that are Organizational Behavior 15th edition by Stephen P. Robbins and Timothy A. Judge, Organizational Behavior, new edition by V.G. Kondekar, Fundamental Organizational Behavior, 3rd Canadian edition by Stephen P. Robbins and Nancy Langton. If I compare that three kinds of books, I choose the best one is Organization Behavior 15 editions by Stephen P. Robbins and Timothy A. Judge. It's because in my make a presentation, I use this book become the source to make my presentation. Even though this book pages are more than to the other books, the page is so thick. The books also mean the content is very complete, easy to understand, and very interesting design. The design is colorful and complete, so make me more enthusiastic to read the book, and when I read this book, I can apply the theory in my daily life. The question number 5 on the part A. Mention the topics presented by your friends and after the midterm, and what do the topic tells you, and explain the benefits. The chapter 10 is about understanding work and themes. The chapter 11 is communication. Chapter 12 is leadership. The chapter 13 is power and politics. The chapter 14 is conflict and negotiations. The chapter 15 is foundation of organizations. The chapter 16 is organizational culture. The chapter 17 human resource policies and practices. The chapter 18 organizational change and the stress management. And the last chapter is about ABC analysis. The benefit I can get is I can understand about how to work in the team, how make the good communication, how become a good leadership, and I can know about the culture of human resource policies, practices, and organizational change, and the stress management. Okay, the last question in part A. How do you find your OB lecture in this short-term course? How many chapters have been discussed? What benefit have you got from studying the chapters in OB? And how can you apply OB to your department you have taken? OB class in the short semester is very interesting. The lecture is also very kind because always permit me to get a permission, and the class environment is very comfort for study. There are 19 chapters that have been discussed. I get many benefits when I study OB. I can more know of how to interact with many people and can be a good manager in the future. I can implement my knowledge about OB in my department by studying again about people behavior, including their behavior in the organization of their behavior when purchase a product in society. It will be easier for me to continue my study because I already took a OB class before. The question number 1 on the part B. What is the ABC of behavior? How is the ABC of behavior applied in your study, in university, in your life at home? And how does manager apply the ABC of behavior to his employees? ABC in a type of behavior analysis refer to the antecedents, behavior, and consequence, the three building blocks of analyzing and changing or difficult behaviors. Antecedents is the events, actions, or circumstances that occur immediately before a behavior. And behavior is the behavior in the detail. And the last is consequence. Consequence is the action or the response that immediately follow the behavior. The example of applying ABC of behavior in the university, when the lecturer comes earlier before the class start, the student will follow them and come on time. In my home, my parents make a rule for their children to always wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. or we will not get breakfast. So we always wake up earlier to help my mother, I think. In the office, manager should be the example for the employees. For the example, if the manager want their employee to come on time, the manager also should come on time. The antecedent is, if the employee make the mistakes, the manager will scold them or angry with them or fire them. Yeah. or tell them to not do the same mistake again. That's the consequence. The number 2 questions on the part B. What is ABC analysis? Why is it important? Explain the history of ABC analysis. ABC analysis is a tool for analyzing behavior and the stems that fields of psychology where it's used as a tool for the understanding of behavior in the general and organizational behavior in particular. ABC analysis is very important because it is a tool why people behave ethically in the organizations through the identification of key environmental factors that cause behavior. This analysis helps us to recognize the complexity of circumstances determining the ethical behavior, as well as a trigger for changing that behavior. The history of ABC analysis began in the 1960s with the beginning of behavior analysis with the Sydney B. Joe and the colleagues. In the 1973, they published a long-term follow-up of the intervention where this made to find that the most of the subject had referred to the pre-intervention behavior. He and his colleagues proposed several ways to improve the outcomes, such as starting the interventions during the children's preschool instead of during the late childhood and adolescence, involving the parent in the intervention and implementing the intervention in the family home rather than the institutional setting. Number 3 in the part B. Is stress good or bad to you? How do you manage your stress? Stress is a general term. For me, that can be good and can also be bad. Stress can be good when it bursts of our energy that basically advises me on what to do. In small, the stress has many advantages for me. For instance, stress can help me meet a daily challenge and motivates me to reach my goal. In fact, stress can help me accomplish that task more efficiently. It can even boost my memory too. But stress also can be bad for me. Too much stress can be make me dizzy, I think. Emotional stress that stay around for weeks or months can weaken my immune system and cause high blood pressure, fatigue, depression, and anxiety, and maybe will become crazy. There are some activities I do to manage my stress. Because my hobby is take photo, I'll go to the nature and I take a photo. I also like sports, so I can play football with my friends. And we also sometimes can do take holiday to manage my stress. The fourth question: what is organizational culture? Why does it matter to you and managers in a company? Organizational culture refers to culture in any type of organization, including that of a school, universities, not for profit groups, government agencies, or business entities. Organizational culture encompasses values and behavior contribute to the unique social, psychological, environmental of an organization. Organizational culture is a set of values that unwritten rules which are often taken for granted that guide the employees towards acceptable for rewarding behavior. If organizational culture is seen as something that characterizes an organization, it can be manipulated and altered depending on the leadership and members. The importance of organizational culture, such as it is a culture of the organization which extracts the best out for its team member. The second is the culture decides the way employees can interact at their workplace. And the third, the culture of the workplace also goes a long way in promoting healthy competition at the workplace. And the last is the culture of organization represent certain predefined policies which guide the employee, give them sense of direction at the workplace. The fifth questions in the part B. There are 4 types of customer mentioned and explain how you do the 4 type of customer have behave when they buy you some things, and how do you sell something to them. The 4 primary customer types are the first is price buyer. This customer want to buy products and service only at the lowest price. They are less concerned about value, differentiation, or relationships. They don't commit to any particular supplier by making sure that they are able to change the supplier easily and at will. Negotiating with the price buyers is something to think about when negotiating with a price buyer. The second is the relationships buyer. This customer wants to trust and have a dependable relationships with their supplier, and they expect supplier to take good care of them. Relationships buyer expect their suppliers to invest in the understanding business, their products or service support. They have a high level of trust in the loyalty on their suppliers. Negotiating with the relationship buyers like develop an immediate knowledge of the prospect, concentrating on specific problem, focus on making decisions, and the last is continually probe for others' dissatisfaction. For the value buyers, this customer understands value and wants supplier to be able to provide the most value in the relation. Negotiating with the value buyers such as don't focus on the price during the initial discussion. The second, focus completely on discovering differential value compared to the competitors. And the last is present an extensive list of where and how you can provide value relative to other vendors. And the last is poker player buyers. These are relationship or the value buyer who have learned that if they act like a price buyer, they can get a high value for low price. The negotiating with poker players, such as when negotiating with the poker player, establish value, give gas share of time, and the last is recognize that you have a value and don't roll offer and start discounting, which will validate for poker playing behavior. The sixth question is about how can I become a morning person? I feel it's a key success. I think the first is define your motivates before. The second is get enough of sleep. The third is stick to the consistent sleep schedule, like every day you can sleep at 9 AM, I think. The fourth is adjust your sleep schedule gradually. The fifth is establish like relaxing evening routine, like you can watching a movie. Yeah. The sixth is create a sleep sanctuary. Then the last is exercise. This is the important thing. When you wake up, you do the exercise. And for the number 7, how do you manage your conflict happening among your employees at work? The first is find the right timing. The second is you can respect the difference. Yeah. The third is let the individuals express their feelings. So you must hear about what they want to say. Yeah. And the fourth is define the problem. Then you acknowledge that a difficult situation exists. And the sixth is let individuals express their feelings. And the last, you can define the problems. So what the state of problem? What is the negative impact on the work or relationships? Are different personality styles parts of the problem? Meet with the employees spiritedly at first and question them about it. I think that's the best way to manage the conflict in your company. Last questions in the part B. What is ABC model behavior? Mention and explain the component ABC model of behavior. How do you apply the ABC model of behavior as a student in the university, a child in your family, an employee at workplace, and a manager in company? ABC in applied behavior analysis refers to the antecedents, behavior, consequence, the three building blocks of analyzing and changing, challenging, or difficult behavior, like the question before in the number 1. I think the first is attendance. Anything that occurs before of behavior or skill when teaching a skill. The antecedents include the place, the teaching materials, who is the treated during the teaching, on how instruction is given. The second, behavior, or B. Anything that your child actually does. Behavior is an observable act. For skill teaching, the following in the specific skill that you have chosen to teach. And the consequence is C. Anything that follows the behavior, increase or the decrease, the change, the behavior will occur again in the future. For skill teaching, you want to have a consequence that will increase the behavior that you are teaching. This type of consequence is called a reinforcer. The example of applying ABC of behavior is like I said before, in the university, when the lecture comes earlier before the class starts, the student also will follow him to come earlier. In my home, my parents make a rule that for the children to always wake up early in the morning, and if I late to the wake up, I don't get the breakfast. And in the office, the manager should be to come on time, and the manager also should come on time. That's for the attendance. If the employee make a mistake, then the manager will scold them or fire them, or can punish them to not the same mistakes again. In the part C, in this part you are to find the videos for the following topics by using www.youtube.com and explain who is the speaker, the contents of the talks in the video, the benefits of the talk to you and the managers. The first about organizational culture. According to Daniel Denison, PhD, CEO of Denison Consulting, organizational culture includes an organizational experience, philosophy, and values that hold it together. And it's expressed and its self-image, inner workings, interaction with the outside world, and the future expectation. It's based on the shared attitudes, beliefs, customs, and written and unwritten rules that have been developed over time and are considered valid. Also called corporate culture in show-in. The first is the ways the organization conducts in its business, treats its employee, customers, and the wider community. And the second is the extent to which the freedom is allowed in the decision making, developing new ideas, and personal expression. The third is about how power and information flow through its hierarchy. And the last, how committed employees are toward the collective objective. So it can be affects the organization productivity and performance, and provide the guidelines on the customer care and service. Product quality and safety attendance are functionally and concern for the environment. This second video is about leadership by Bob Anderson and Bill Adams. There are 5 levels of leaderships and system performance. The first is about egocentric. The identity at the egocentric level is I am my needs. We are identified with our ability to meet our needs. This identity does not notice others' needs. At this stage, our needs are primary. It requires defining ourselves relationally, such that our primary loyalty is no longer to ourselves, but to the relationship like a friend, parent, family, organization, and community. Because egocentric leadership is responsible for oppressive dictatorships and fascisms. And the second is about reactive, the ability to hold both our needs and needs or the feeling of others simultaneously is the hallmark of the reactive level. And the third is about creative, and then about integral. Integral is this level of leadership is capable of leading amid complexity. And the last is about unitive. This is the highest stage of awareness who are a shared union with all that is. The third video is about conflict in the organization by Dr. John Schultz. Organization conflict or workplace conflict is a stage of discord caused by the actual or perceived opposition of needs, values, and interests between people working together. Conflict takes many forms in the organizations. There is an inevitable clash between formal authority and power and those individuals and groups affected. There are disputes over how revenues should be divided, how the work should be done, and how long and hard people should work. There are jurisdictional disagreements among the individuals and department and between unions and management. There are subtler forms of conflict involving rivalries, jealousy, personality clashes, role definition, and struggles for power and favor. There is also conflict within the individuals between competing needs and demands, to which individuals respond in different ways. The fourth video is about negotiating by Alan McCarthy. Negotiation is a dialogue between two or more people or parties intend to reach a beneficial outcome over one more issues where conflict exists with respect to at least one of these issues. This beneficial outcome can be for all for the parties involved or just for some of them. It's aimed to resolve the point of difference to gain an advantage for an individual or collective, or to craft outcome to satisfy various interests. It is often conducted by the putting forward a position and making small concessions to achieve the agreement. The degree to which the negotiating parties trust is other to implement the negotiated solution is a major factor in determining whether the negotiations are successful. In many cases, negotiation is not a zero-sum game, allowing for cooperation to improve the result of the negotiations. The fifth video, the types of employees, by Doug Gulbranson. There are 4 types of employees. The first is the defender. The defender is this worker seeks to security, predictability, and stability. And the second is the friend. They seek the belonging, friendship, and fulfilling the relationship. This worker likes to organization and roles with a strong team, ethos, excellent social activities, and opportunities for helping others. And the third is about the director. They seek power, influence, and control over people and resource. This type of employee likes a management or leadership roles with a clear and visible responsibility for people and resources, and promotion and career prospects. And the last is creator. Creator is the innovation and creativity and change. They like a problem solving the development work in the cutting edge, innovative organizations or challenges environments. And the sixth video is about the types of lectures. 5 types of lectures by Oliver Ben. The first is the waffler. And the second, the sixth one, the description is not all academics are happy, peaceful bunch. It may surprise you, but some are closer in likeness to strict. And the third is on-time lecturer. These lectures will always come earlier before the class start. Usually, this type of lecture is disciplined and firm. Then the last is the last one. The late one. Sorry. This type of lecture always come late or absent. They easily change the schedule. This type of lecture is easygoing, always give a good mark to their students. And the last video is about the types of customer. 5 type customer by Mark Hunter. The first is loyal customer. They represent more than 20% of our customer base but make up more than 50% of our sales. The second is about discount customers. They shop our store frequently but make their decisions based on the size of markdowns. And the third is impulse customers. They do not have to buy a particular item at the top of their to-do, but come into their store on a whim. They will purchase what seems good at the time. And the fourth is need-based customers. They have a specific intention to buy a particular type of items. And the last is wandering customers. They have no specific needs or desire in mind when they come into the stores. Rather, they want a sense of experience or a community. This is the last part D. In this part, you are to answer the question related to OB groups on Facebook and VA. First question: how many videos are posted in OB group on FB? And mention what the videos talk about and how many videos have you watched OB group and Facebook. Mention the titles and contents of the video you have watched. And are there videos beneficial to you and why? There are 233 videos that you post in OB. And I already watched maybe 20 of videos. The first video is about perceptions and communication by Stephen Duncan. And the second is about the 4 personality and how to deal with them by Patrick Beth. And the third is about structure, technique, action, and relationship by David. And the fourth video is about to keep your team motivated by Professor Lake Thompson. And the fifth video is about the negotiating by Shell Richards. And the sixth video is about ABC model of cognitive behavior therapy. And then is about ABC analysis of behavior. And the 8th video is about organization, behavior, power, and politics. The 9th video is about power, politics, and conflict in organizations. And the 11th video is about verbal and non-verbal communication by Professor Rox Kumar Pandya. Then about verbal and non-verbal communication. The 13th video is about types of communication. The 14th video is about my barriers to the communication. The 15th video is about the communication process. Then about how the communication process works. And the 17th video is about what is communication. And the 19th video, understand teamwork. And the last video I watched is about a type on consumer. All of the video are very beneficial for me. I get a lot of knowledge and information I don't know before by watching those videos. The second video in the part D is about how many articles are posted on FB, OB group, and VA. What do they talk about? How many articles have you read, and what the lesson you get from reading the article? The first article I have read is about the ABC of behavior. The second article is about behavior plans, and the third video is about not video, but article is about what of webcast. The fourth article is about the panel station, and then about the color in office environment, and then about psychology of color. The article is about the color of investors' money. The next video is about the influence of color on the intention to buy a product. The 10th video is article is about the role of color in consumer behavior. The 11 articles about the relationship color with mood. The 12 videos about the color psychology. The 13 articles about emphasis benchmark report. The 14 articles about the influence of stress on the job performance. And the last articles I have read is about the behaviorism. When I read this article, I can more know about what is OB and the function of OB, so I can implement it in our daily life. The third questions in the part D: how many questions did you see on the OB group on VA? Have you voice recorded your answer to all the questions on VA? Why? What are your answers to the question? What about the result about the personality test given in VA? Describe your personality. When I calculate it, there are around 40 questions I see on OB group on VA. I have first record of some the answer on VA group because there are a lot of questions. I will only mention some the answer in this video. The first is about what is attitude. Attitude is evolution of ideas, events, objects, or people. Attitudes are generally positive or negative, but they can also be uncertain at times. The second question is about explain the components of attitudes. There are three components of attitudes. Who calls this ABC model of attitudes? A for affective, B for behavioral, and C for cognitive. Although every attitude has these three components, any particular attitude can be based on the component more than another. The first is affective-based attitudes, refers to the emotional reaction, and the second is behavior-based attitudes, refers to the way one behaves when exposed to an attitude object, and the last is cognitively based attitudes, refers to the thoughts and belief one has about an attitude object. The third question I have answered is about what is consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is the study of individual groups or organizations and the process they use to select, secure, use, and dispose of products, service, experience, or ideas to satisfy needs, and the impact that this process have on consumer and society. And the last question I mentioned it is explain the difference between emotion and mood. Emotions are short-lived feelings that come from a known cause, while moods are feelings that are longer lasting than emotion and have no clear starting point of information. Emotion can range from happy, ecstatic, and sad or prideful, while moods are either positive or negative. And for my personality test, I'm executive personality by Edmund. Executive are representative of tradition and order, utilizing their understanding of what is right, wrong, and socially acceptable to bring families and communities together, embracing the values of honesty, dedication, and dignity. People with the executive personality type are valued for their clear advice and guidance, and they happily lead the way on difficult path. Taking pride in bringing people together, executives often take on roles as community organizer, working hard to bring everyone together in celebration of serious local events or in defense of the traditional values that hold families, communities together. The last questions in the party. Open the following links and answer the question there are and describe the results of your answer. I am a mixed both of personality A and B. This is completely normal. This is a healthy, but not saying being a full personality A on B is unhealthy. Being a mix of both means that you are a competitive but know when to give up. You are laid back but know when to react seriously. Relationships issues that make the deal with is a basic love, such as aspiration, jealousy, laziness, and etc. Being a mix doesn't mean you are any better than the personality A and B. It just means you are able to react like a normal human would, but this depends on the person, his or herself. And for the 16th personality.com, I got 70 from 100. I have a mixed attribution style when it comes to success. Sometimes I interpret my success as a result of my skill, intelligence, nice personality. Other time my attribute is to external factors, such as luck, ease of text of or other people helps. As a consequence, you don't always take a credit you have deserved. My self-esteem, motivation, and general well-being will most likely be improved if I realize that I actively influence positive events in my life. Well, my friends, that's all of my answers. I hope that you can understand my answers and can benefit for you. I thank you very much for your attention and watching my video. I'm very happy if you can give comment to my answer. Thank you.